Well, we continue to review some past events. I got back-to-back days with Stardom for 2 days in Sapporo for the part of the Cinderella Summer Tour, and of course, one by West Coast Pro Wrestling from the Bay Area called "I Hate You with a Passion." And of course, we cannot forget the last AEW Dynamite of the year, and also is the end of the era of the TNT. As you know, they'll be switching to TBS next year, which is something very excited to hear. But at the same time, we wonder ourselves, of course, how will they do? But right now, this is the last show they will have on TNT, but also the last show of 2021. So, also, we got some news updates, which, regardless of a surprising move, where now we have another WWE release, which was very surprising, but there's been conflicting reports coming out whether if she was released or she quit. It's still unclear, but also, another former WWE superstar has been saying that he claims that he's been in talks with people in AEW. Do we believe that, or that's just a lot of hogwash? Well, we will talk all of it on this episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay, right here. So, we're going to squeeze everything right now in one scoop with Stardom. As you know, I mentioned 2 days of Stardom for their Cinderella Summer Tour in Sapporo, which took place on July 21st and 22nd of this year. This is like still doing coming out of their Yokohama stuff, and then we'll be jumping in later to their Grand Prix things. But I'm not gonna do the entire thing. I'm just gonna review the finals. But that's a little later in whenever I catching up. But there's a lot of things that took place with Stardom right now. But I'm trying desperately to catch up for all of you, so you guys can get. Now let's go with day one, of course, with Cinderella Summer Tour in Sapporo. We had Lady C versus Unagi. Now these two ladies are not strangers to each other. They wrestled against each other many times. They have teamed together, and of course, outside the ring, they used to hang out. But of course, Unagi has a better experience than Lady C. I know Lady C during that time she was in fact on a losing streak, but she did have a winning streak later on. But however, Nagi really put her out with that one move. I can't pronounce it right because I really hate to pronounce certain things. I don't know if did it right. But Unagi won this match. Next up, we have a three-way match. We have, of course, Konami, or as some people call her, the Submission Demon. Azumi, one of the best high speedsters in the Yoshi world, and of course, Mina Shirakawa. This match could have gone anywhere else, but however, it was Azumi that was able to put a submission move on Mina Shirakawa, allowing herself to pick up a victory. Konami, well, too bad she didn't get a submission move. Now, the next match we have tag team action. We got, of course, Oda Tai, consistent of Ruka, Saki Kashima versus Stars Koguma and Mayu Utani. As you know, these are two former members. Oda Tai, these two ladies in Oda Tai were once former members of Stars, and of course they took the dark path. But however, it was Saki Kashima who picked up the victory when she pulled some sort of crucifix onto Koguma to allow her to win the match. Now our next match is a 2 out of 3 falls in a 6-woman tag team match. We have one corner DDM, Micah, Julia, and Suri. The reason this match was set is because both Julia and Suri are in the following day will be putting their lines on the line against uh, Queen's Quest tag team group known as Aphrodite, consistent of Kamitani and Ishida. But however, those two teamed up with Momo Watanabe in this particular match. The first round goes to, of course, Queen's Quest. It was Kamitani who picked up the victory, and it was great to pull it off. Second round goes to, of course, DDM, all thanks to Micah. But however, once again, in the third fall, it was Kamitani who pulled it off, and of course, and during but however, during the beginning of this and before the start of the match, both Suit and DDM made fun of them because they were wearing like these Afro clown outfits, but thinking they can make fun of them. But of course, Kamitani did not take that too kindly out of them. But our main event is for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, aka the White Belt, between Starlight Kid and, of course, Tam Nakano. Now, this match was set because Starlight Kid, as soon as Tam Nakano defeated Saya Kamitani back in Yokohama Dream Cinderella, Starlight Kid actually volunteered herself, believing that she could beat her for this belt. Fortunately, that's exactly what this match was about. Now, of course, whenever the Starlight Kid's around, Oda ties right behind her. They're always having her back. But there was a misfired by Ruka when she accidentally took out Starlight Kid. But however, it was Tam who, in fact, finished it off with the Tiger Suplex. As soon as the match was over, Tam Nakano was able to win it. She tried to extend her hand, but Kid is not a happy camper with how losing the match. Now let's go with day 2. We have opening match Lady C versus Azumi. Now, Azumi is one of the best high speedsters in Stardom. She's really fast. However, you got Lady C, who is a tall girl. I think she's like 5'9" or something like that. I'm not sure, but she has a lot of power. But however, who does have the better advantage? Well, Azumi, other than using her speed, she does have a little bit of experience with submission, and that's exactly what she did with, of course, Lady C. She put her submission, forced her to tap out. Next match, we have a three-way. We have Maika versus Momo Watanabe versus Tam Nakano. This match was great. It showed how much these three ladies are so intense. You know, both Maika and Momo have a similar type of striking maneuver because they are both strikers. Um, of course, Tam, who has a little bit of the kung fu background, basically did help out, so they kind of have a little bit of similarities. But however, the match ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes, so no one won. Next match, we have Oda Tai, Ruka, and Saki Kashima taking on the Cosmic Angels, Mina, and Unagi. However, before the match, the first bell rung, the announcer made a mistake. Normally, when they announce the Cosmic Angels as a team, they always go backwards. You see, Tam is the leader, then Mina was the second to join, and then, of course, Unagi. But when they're announcing them, they go backwards. They go from Unagi, Mina, and Tam. But this time, the ring announcer messed up by saying Mina's name. There was a lot of confusion. Even Unagi felt the same way, but fortunately that's what happened. But in this particular match, of course, Kashima got away with it by pinning Mina with her, I don't know what she calls it. I mean, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I hate pronouncing things wrong when it's in Japanese, but I'll figure that out some other time. So she picked up a really good victory on this one. Next one, we got the other members of Oda Tai, um, Starlight Kid and Konami taking on Koguma and Mayu Utani. Once again, Konami actually pull up her submission specialist onto Koguma and force her to tap out with some sort of an armbar that she always do and made her tap. But our main event on day 2 was in fact for the Goddesses of Stardom Championship. Now, those who don't know, the Goddesses of Stardom, those are the tag titles. We had the challengers from Queen's Quest, better known as Aphrodite, Saya Kamitani, and Utami Hayashishida, taking on DDM's Julia and Sudi. Now, this is one of those matches where we've seen DDM, how dominant they have become, how dangerous they can be, and they haven't lost any of their matches. Don't know how much. How do I say this? What is their victory in defenses in as a tag team? But I'm sure they probably are reaching the highest as much as possible. but it was Julia who pinned Saikami Tani in this match, allowing themselves to win. A really good victory. So these two days were pretty good. I mean, the even though there were 5 matches, but there's still more to come. Uh, I think that's pretty much it what I got with Stardom. But I believe it's time with West Coast Pro Wrestling. Okie dokie. So we got West Coast Pro Wrestling, or it's just called West Coast. These guys are based out of San Francisco. The last time I did this review was a while back, but now this one is called the next event. This took place on the 10th of September, and it's called I Hate You with a Passion. Strong words, yeah. I mean, there are matches where it says we hate you in every way. But let's go from start to finish. The opening match was a 6-man tag team match. We got Midas Creed, Nick Wayne, and Juicy Finau taking on Surza, Lucas Riley, and D Rogue. Now, majority of these guys I don't know. The only ones I do know is Nick Wayne and Juicy. They were the only two guys I've seen because they normally appear in GCW. But it was a pretty good match. It was good. Not it wasn't too much pump, but there was a lot of hot spots. But however, it was Midas Creed that picked up a good victory. Um, there's still some wrestlers I still don't catch up, but it was okay. Not gonna lie about that. Next up, we got Kevin Blackwood taking on Kevin Talkman. This is much of a brawl type match, as you know. Calvin Tagman, he's a huge dude. Um, Kevin Blackwood, he's almost similar as Daniel Garcia, but they do have like a bit of like the sort of almost similar ways. But it was all right. But the way this match ended is when Kevin Blackwood just pounded on the back of the head of Calvin Tankman, and he just completely passed out. And the ref had to call the match. Kevin Blackwood won by ref's decision. Next up, we got trios action. We got Steven Tresario versus Jordan Oliver versus Chris Bay. Um, I don't recall if I ever seen this guy, Steven Tresario, but Jordan Oliver and Chris Bay, yes. I mean, pretty interesting trios match because anything could go wrong. Anything could happen. But in this scenario, it was Steven Trezio who picked up the win when he pinned Jordan Oliver, which was okay. Next up, we got Levi Shapiro taking on the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Now, in the back of my head, seeing this match, I would thought Jacob Fatu would win, but no, this was a huge upset. Levi Shapiro pinned Jacob Fatu. This is like one of those matches where like, oh boy, but you better pray that Jacob Fatu will not come out and get you. That's something I know for a fact he would do, but we'll see what happens then. Next up, we got Vinny Mazzario versus Yuya Umra. Now, Vinny has been very attacking of the younger wrestlers, like saying they're worthless, they shouldn't be here. But here comes Yuya Umra, who we have seen many times. He has proven himself as a young lion that he's deserving to be there. And he decided to give Vinny an ass beating of a lifetime. And that's exactly what he did. He took out Vinny, allowing himself to pick up a very good victory to shut him up. And I thought it was a pretty good match. So it shows that a young guy can actually kick your ass. So that's the way I see it. Next up, we have this one fits into the pay per view Starboard Charlie versus Titus Alexander. Now, this particular match, Titus used to be friends with Charlie until he cost him the um the West Coast Pro Wrestling Championship against Alexander Hammerstone the previous month, and now it's like this is a rivalry that went start. Now Titus would definitely try to pin him, but nothing works. He refuses to stay down. However, he has this guy who comes out. I don't know if that's his real name. They call him Big Ugly. So he got in the way and attacked Starboy, putting himself in a disqualification, giving the match to Starboy. But however, Nick Wayne, Starboy Charlie's closest friend, tried to help, but it didn't. But out of the blue, we just saw Jake Atlas make his appearance, and it appears that he's going to team up with Starboard Charlie to take on Titus O'Neil and Big Ugly. Now, our next match, we have tag team action. We have Little Rascals, consistent of the Young Goat, Myron Reed, and Trey Miguel to take on Reno Scum, um, Adam Thorsto, and Luster the Legend. I thought it was a pretty good match. I have to say, Reno Scum are doing way more better than they could have done when they were in Impact, but hopefully they will be recognized more. But it was great, but it was I missed the ending, but it was Reno Scum that won the match. Very impressive. Now our next match we have is for the championship, for the West Coast Pro Wrestling Championship. AJ Gray versus the champion Alex Hammerstone. I thought it was a pretty good match, but I did not expect in the end that AJ Gray was going to win it. It showed that he is deserving to win this match when he pinned Alexander Hammerstone. I thought it was pretty amazing. So Hammerstone gave him the respect, and basically AJ Gray now is the champion. Don't know if he lost during the other upcoming events, but we'll see what happens. But right now, let's move on with AEW. Okay, I mentioned this before. This is the last AEW Dynamite show on 2021, but also on TNT. As you guys know, they'll be moving by next week to TBS, which is going to be an interesting. I don't know how the viewership is going to be like, but however, let's just make the most of what they put out for this particular AEW Dynamite show for New Year's Smash. But first things first, it opened up with the return of good old JR. Jim Ross. It's great that he's back. I know he's been in extensive treatment due to his skin cancer that he's been dealing with. It's great that he's back. You know, I I've been a big fan of JR for a long time, and I'm glad that he's back. Now, our opening match is a 10-man tag match. We have one corner Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, along with Christian Cage, teaming up with the current AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Rey Fenix, taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, and of course FTR. Now, I don't know what was the significance of this, but this was a very chaotic match, but also showed there's a lot of miscommunication that took place, mostly coming from the Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express. However, this particular match plays out in a different way. Basically, we know that Jurassic Express have an interest of having an opportunity of the AEW World Tag Team titles. However, a part of me wants to think, I don't know, I have that distinct feeling FTR but definitely would like another crack at it, or the obvious Private Party. But that's how it is. So there was been mistakes. It's already been over from there. Next up, we have Eddie Kingston along with Santana and Ortiz to take on 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. This match was mostly focused on Eddie, who wants to rip Daniel Garcia's head on. But however, the match ended in with Daniel Garcia using the tights on Santana. But however, there was more beatdown. Eddie Kingston was incapacitated, couldn't do anything about it until Daniel Garcia used the belt onto Santana. Now, when things were getting worse, we did not expect the return of the demo god himself, Judas himself, Chris Jericho. He made his return with a baseball bat, whacking one of the guys from 2.0. But it looks like there's a bit of an animosity between both um, Kingston and Jericho. But, however, I hate to be the guy to say this. I feel like there's going to be a story about this, but Santana Ortiz are going to be caught in the middle because they follow Jericho. They're friends with Kingston. So basically, it's that sort of dynamic that I'm looking forward to. Now, MJF, as you know, recently. He acts like he thinks he's smart. He called out Punk that he was a coward running away from him, all this other stuff. But he doesn't have any, how do I say, he does not want to have him be his problem anymore. Like, fans are expecting him to be, but however, his main focus is the AEW World Championship. But however, this is where it gets more interesting. Spears and Warlow were with him. Warlow is going to be involved in that casino ladder, the Face of the Revolution ladder match, if you guys remember that. Basically, whoever gets a AEW World title. But however, MJF told Warlow that if he wins, he has to relinquish his rights for that title to him. Now, we can talk about Warlow on Rewatch, but however, I have that distinct feeling as a fan with this storytelling that sooner or later, Warlow is going to snap at MJF and the rest of the pinnacle. He's going to go on his own. I think maybe fans are expecting that. I'm not 100% sure, but if he is, we definitely got to see that. Now, Warlow, of course, had his match against Colin Donnelly, but once again, he did the whole thing like he was supposed to, multiple power bombs, and that's how he won. But however, Sean Spears, who decided to give more punishment to Delaney after he was completely, he was trying to outstage Warlow, but sooner or later, Warlow's gonna snap and it's gonna hurt Spears. That's what I'm expecting on that. Now, as you know, we saw last week Kyle O'Reilly made his debut, and I'm not sure if fans were expecting it, but a part of me was thinking it's a possibility. And now it is. Now it appears that there's still a bit more, how do I say, friction between both Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Now I'm not sure if they're continuing the story with the whole thing that led back when they were in NXT. That is still unclear for me, but we'll see where it goes. And once again, AEW has to hear with the lousy nonsense from Dan Lambert, claiming that Cody had to jump the line, that he stooped, that Tony Khan doesn't know what he's doing, and he believes that more deserving. He started calling Brandy Rhodes a stripper, all this, but Brandy Rhodes comes out, tried to kick his butt, but however, Dustin tried to be a peacemaker, but however, Ethan Page gave him the low blow. So this is not going to be easy, but later it was revealed that Ethan Page will have a TNT title match against Cody. So this is going to be an interesting development. Now, we have our semifinal TBS Championship Tournament, Jade Cargill and Thunder Rosa. This is one of those matches where Jade, I don't think she expected a lot, because here's the thing. When it comes to Jade, she tries to finish the match as possible, putting a lot of hurt in her opponents. However, Thunder Rosa was that one person who exploited a way to put out a knee onto Jade Cargill to get, to, how do I say, give her up, trying to weaken her a little bit. And I don't think Jade expected that. Now, things would have gone well for Thunder Rosa until a mysterious figure attacked her with the bottle and whacking her, and the ref did not see it, all thanks to Mark Sterling. And then later, when the match was over, Thunder Rosa would not take the loss, likely because she felt that it was stolen from her. But later it was revealed who was the mysterious hooded figure. It's none other than Mercedes Martinez. And now it's been confirmed she is now all elite. Now, I'm not sure if they're playing out where Mercedes actually feels like she's the one who's like one of the true leaders of the women's wrestling, that sort of thing. I mean, we had that with uh, Evilise in real life with Thunder Rosa, but that kind of tells a different story. But it was kind of interesting. But however, Ruby Soho comes out to save. As you know, for the finals, it's going to be Ruby Soho and, of course, Jade Cargill. And I'm very excited for that because we will see who will be the first ever. Now, I do believe there are fans out there that believe Ruby Soho should be. My brother mentioned this before. He believes that Ruby Soho should definitely be TBS a champion. The reason is that we never got the chance to see her become champion in WWE. And hopefully we get to see that here. Now, Punk, as you know, this is his first time being in Daly's place. What a great ovation. He even talked about why he came there. He looked at his Daily place as a holy ground, being the home of AEW, but also where we had that amazing tribute show with Brody Lee. He mentioned how that made him decide to be there. And that kind of tells a different story. And he even also welcomed back Jim Ross. But CM Punk realized that he's wasting his time with MJF, but he did admit that he would like to challenge him. But sooner or later, their paths will come across. And CM Punk did stated he wants to be on the title hunt. This is going to be one of those matches where it tells us one way or the other, MJF can run from CM Punk. But somewhere down the line, we will see those two come across each other once again. Now, we had an interview with Brian Pillman Jr., who, as you know, he's much like his father. He's upset that the way things have gone down with what happened to the Varsity Blondes. First, Julia got missed, then Griff Garrison was taken out by Malachi Black. So he now decides to enter the House of Black, this time trying to take the fight to him. But however, Malachi Black decided to play a little mind games with him. But the real question is, can Brian Pillman Jr. stay focused? That is something we definitely got to pay attention to. Now, our main event, we have the reunited Red Dragons, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish teaming up with Adam Cole to take on Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. It was a great match. It showed great promising spots, all this other stuff I was enjoying, especially some certain teamworks between both sides. But however, there was a misfire coming from Kyle O'Reilly when he gave a foot stomp to Adam Cole, and then all of a sudden the Bucks show up when they sent Cutler Stooge to do their dirty work to distract the referee, and all of a sudden they super kick both Best Friends, allowing for Kyle O'Reilly to pick up the victory. But however, this is one of those things we need to ask ourselves. Is going to be where Red Dragons are like, we're not going to need Adam Cole anymore? They're going to start a war with the Elite. That is something we do know that Red Dragons and the Bucks had different opinions in the past during their time in the Independents. But the real question is, when will that happen? Well, all we got to do is wait and see what's going to take place in the upcoming weeks with the Elite and the so-called Red Dragons. But I believe it's time for some news updates. Okay, welcome to the news updates. Now, this one just came around recently. Now, I don't know if you guys can say it's a load of BS, it's laughable, or whatever. It was later told that Alberto Del Rio he claims that he's been in contact with people within AEW. Now, the last thing I know, the only person I know that knows him is in fact Ricardo Rodriguez, who once was his announcer back in the day with WWE. That's about it. I'm not sure if he has any direct contact, but I don't believe Ricardo is the guy he should be talking to because I don't think he has any pull. But I believe he claims that he's talking to people when AEW is like, I don't know if there's no word if he's really talking to either the Bucks or Kenny or Cody or possibly Tony Khan. That is something we don't know. But I do believe that many people probably felt, nope, AEW needs to stay away from him. And this isn't the first time we hear that. Now, not too long ago, about maybe months ago or so, this is the same thing that Del Rio was saying, that he's been in contact with WWE for his return, and it turns out there is no confirmation on that. There is nothing that says he's coming back. So I highly doubt that's going to take place, but I can say AEW should just stay away from him. Just I know you got that he has issues, but we don't need that in AEW whatsoever. Now, this next one, of course, this one is a very kind of surprising or not, or however you guys feel. It was announced that Toni Storm has been released from the company. Now, however, we don't know for sure exactly. Now, they're saying WWE released her, but there other reports are saying that she was in fact she quit on the spot. Now, I don't know what the actual story, but however, we do know for 100% certainty that Toni Storm hasn't been utilized a lot since she moved from NXT to the main roster, and we felt like, what the hell is going on here? We saw an embarrassment moment where she got kicked in the face. I just don't know what WWE are thinking. That's the thing. And we know that they're building up a story between her and Charlotte, but I feel WWE didn't do their jobs. But however, because of this, now there's people saying that she could be AEW bound. I mean, I have to say if she does go, it's definitely going to give possibly a better edge for the women's division AEW. That's something that we definitely would love to have. And I like Toni Storm. Not to mention she probably get to be more closer to her fiance, Juice Robinson, because we do know that they're engaged, and we'll see where they're gonna go with that. But um, for now, let's just wait and see what's gonna happen in the upcoming weeks. Now, our last report here, it's been told that Jake Atlas made his return back. As you know, he recently said he was taking some time off, dealing with mental health issues. As you know, he was dealing with this while he was in WWE during NXT, and it appears that he might have recovered from it. And it was now been revealed by certain people that he was spotted at AEW Dark tapings at Daly's place, and there was a moment where they're saying that he and Tony Khan shook hands. Now, do we really think that he got signed with AEW? I mean, anything is possible, but Jake Atlas is one of those wrestlers I know for a fact could bring a good caliber way of him being there, because he's very an amazing wrestler. We have witnessed he is one of those wrestlers we definitely love to see, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Tony Khan is actually looking for, because I mean, he's a fantastic wrestler, and not to mention he's about in the same kind of predicament with Mercedes. They both are homosexuals. I got nothing against that, but their talent is amazing. I mean, especially Jake. I would definitely love to see him be in AEW, and can't wait to see what he's going to be doing in AEW Dark. So I think that's pretty much it what we got. So let's try to call it a night. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode. I hope, as you know, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. I'm not going to stop from there. I will continue to do more content for all of you. Uh, Coming up, I will do a episode completely with just two reviews. One is going to be, of course, the latest Choco Pro event, number 186, which I'm excited to get to see and review for all of you. And then also going to add a Yoshi promotion that I haven't got the chance to see. This is one of the latest videos that was posted on WatchProWrestling.live by them. This is coming from Ice Ribbon with new Ice Ribbon number 1157 at Oda City. And we'll see what goes on from there. And possibly afterwards, I will throw in another video with maybe 3 or 4 other reviews. But that all depends on the day. Um, not making any promises to anybody, but that's how I run my own thing right now, because there's a lot of wrestling to review, and there's still some wrestling I haven't got the chance to see. But in no time, we'll get to them. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.